you know, my husband crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, look, you might hear us again, but you ain't gonna have no attitude.
Ooh, you might hear us again, but you know. What's up?
Hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom.
What's up? Welcome to Moms. Actually, I am Morgan,
I'm Blair.
and y'all, we have Auntie, the Auntie, Tabitha Brown here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I am just crawling in my skin right now. I just literally cannot believe it, but I am so grateful that you are here.
Yes.
We are so grateful that you are
So
here
grateful.
and that you are joining us on the couch. We told y'all we had a treat for you guys, and
Indeed.
did we deliver or
We
what?
delivered.
Yes.
You've
so,
been waiting for this.
Yes.
Didn't even know
you were waiting
this.
for it, but yes, we've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
But yes, we are so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for just
Absolutely.
joining us. You guys know, if you don't know, we are about to get into some really, really good conversation. But before we start, we're going to give you a moment. This is your moment right now to subscribe. So
Yes.
we're just going to give you one little second.
Press the button.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
good job.
So thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started into the nitty gritty of the conversation, we'd like to play a little game.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, Blair, can you take us in on the game?
So we're gonna play a little game. You've seen it, unless you're new. It's giving motherhood.
Yes.
And so
Okay.
that
So
is
these
why
are
we
for.
have these
all
fun
right.
little paddles. And so gold means yes, or it's the first answer, or first option. And then white means no, or it's the second option, because we're gonna do some yes or no and some either or.
Yes. No.
No.
Maybe so.
Yep, all that. All
Okay.
that.
We're good.
We're
Okay.
gonna figure it out. So
Okay.
the first question, are you ready?
All right.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I'm ready.
she's good.
Yes.
Right?
Very good.
She's like, that was the first question, right? Is having it all unrealistic?
No.
I'm gonna say yes because it's like a technicality. Like, I guess it's like, what's the all? Like,
Yeah.
all?
Right.
Well, I think that, well, shall
That's
I
why.
explain?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because all is what we determine,
Yes.
right? So, to me, if we have life and we have like health and all the things, like whatever we perceive as all is all. So I think if we don't look at somebody else's definition of all, we always have it all.
I can
Yes.
agree if we're going from that definition.
That's why I said
Yeah.
no, because I'm like, what's all to me?
Yeah.
And whatever's all to me is what I have.
Yeah.
And it's not unrealistic.
I'm like, if you say all or none, like in an
Yes.
argument or something.
You're like black or white, no
you're
gray.
automatically wrong. Like,
Yeah.
because it just never is.
yes.
But
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Okay. Do you think today's moms face more challenges than previous generations?
Yes.
I say yes. Oh. We've talked about this before.
I'm
and
like,
that's why I'm laughing.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
I say yes because of social media, but then like
Yeah.
no because we don't have to milk cows. Like how far in the generations are we going?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there was just a lot more that had to figure out without technology. So I'm like, you can go harder from that. You were like kind of lonelier too.
Yeah.
Like it just depends on what we're saying is the generation, like
Yeah.
the 1800s, the
Yeah.
1910s, the 1980s. But I feel like social media makes it
Yes.
much harder as well.
Yeah. I think more access
Yes.
creates more challenges.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. That's why I'm kind of in the middle, because we have just so much exposure where we're like, I'm not doing that. And kind of what you were saying a couple episodes ago, everything is either right or wrong, or for a second it's like, this is the best way. And then it's like, oh, studies show that actually that's awful way. So it's like between that and then, but the previous generations, they had kept everything in.
Yeah.
Like everything was, we gotta be strong. We gotta, you know, we're talking more now. So they didn't have an outlet for real to be able to say, no, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
both.
Have your kids ever walked in on you? No.
Yes.
My mother-in-law's walked
She
in
don't
on me.
remember it.
Ooh, that is very
That was
awkward.
weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
She was
Ooh.
only 2,
Yeah.
and we stopped instantly and was like, we wrestling.
Did y'all like?
She was like, I don't like the wrestle. I did you get to do? I don't like it.
I don't
We
like it.
yeah, we just playing, girl.
We don't like it either.
We just playing.
Oh my goodness.
Then years later, when she was like 14 or 15, she heard us. Yeah, and she was upset about it.
So how had you already had like the talk?
Oh yeah, we had the talk. Yeah, many times.
Right.
You know, the talk is it's like conversation.
Yeah,
in my
okay.
house.
That's good. I love that.
But you know, she was in high school, but then she had an attitude about it. So when her dad took her to school that morning, he was like, because we didn't know she had heard us.
Yeah.
And so he took her to school that morning, and when he came home, or he called me, he was like, hey, I think Choice might have heard us last night. I said, why? He was like, she had a little attitude this morning. Like, nothing
Yeah.
that he could say, like she
Yeah.
want to, have no conversation. And so when we picked her up, she still had attitude. And so I was like, oh, now we got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so Chance, who is, my husband crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, now look, you might hear us again, but you ain't going to have no attitude.
You might hear us again, but you're not about to.
Because, we had a very small house at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can understand your your thoughts,
Yeah.
your emotion behind it. But the reality is, your parents love each other, and this is also how you got here.
Yeah.
You also know what it is,
Yes.
right? But we respectfully always try to make sure you don't hear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is like the first time in your whole 14 years of life. Like,
Yeah.
We've done pretty good.
she don't
Yes.
remember when she was 2. Okay?
Yes.
That didn't count.
Yeah, and so we worked really hard on making sure she was comfortable. After
I like that you said that we're like respectfully.
Yeah.
You still like, even though we're adults, even though it's our house, all that, we still try to make sure you don't.
Absolutely, because you also don't want your children to like have trauma because
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
dang.
weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's weird, but you should be happy your parents getting it on.
Yeah.
They like each other.
They love each other.
I mean, even to this day, she's 22 now. She'd be like, if we hug,
can't
she'd be like,
believe
oh my
she's
God, y'all are
22.
so disgusting.
She
Yeah.
got some flashbacks.
Yeah, she'd be like, I'm
Yes,
out of
grown.
here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she grown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the other day.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Walk-
That was the first time.
4?
My son. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, y'all left
Yeah.
more just,
Yeah.
you a morning person. It just seemed like it should happen every day.
Yeah, because we don't typically do morning stuff, but it just was that day.
oh, okay.
But he
What'd
went
he
right
say?
back out. He didn't know because it stopped.
Yeah.
And then my husband was like, all right, son, go back in your room. Which usually he'll even say that even when we're not doing anything, because
Right.
we try to keep a limit on, or a time frame on when he can actually come in in the morning. So he just knew to close the door and go back.
Okay.
It was pretty chill, but I was like, wow, that was close. Okay, me next. So do you think parenting gets easier as kids get older? I'm gonna give a whole big old fat no.
I'm gonna say no. I have younger kids,
Yeah.
but I feel like everything's conceptual with younger kids. That's why all the advice I give, and I'm like, but my kid's 6 and 4, so we're
Yeah.
gonna see if it
Actually sticks.
turns. Yeah.
It's definitely a no.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
clearly.
I don't think I realized how easy, baby stage was,
Yes.
toddler stage, even elementary school, all that. It was so much easier. Honey, trying to parent adults and teenagers, baby, I'm lucky to be here. But it's also like now you're never not parenting.
Right.
You have to adjust, because when you have, teenagers, which is a very tough stage, because you don't want to treat your children like babies, but you also don't want to treat them like adults yet.
Right.
So you got to find the medium,
Right.
right? And every child is different. You don't realize that until they start getting their own personalities and as they continue to grow. It's definitely harder as they grow up.
Yes.
And then you worry for the rest of your life. You be like, I ain't gonna worry about it. But as a parent, you always got something in the back of your head. Like, my daughter now, she moved to Houston.
Yeah.
And I can't reach her like I used to be able to
can't
reach out and
imagine
touch her. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine when your kids are just in the wild every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't even come back home. Like they just
Yeah. Every day.
living.
Yeah.
Just holidays.
We did it too.
Call
though,
your
didn't we?
mom after the
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. we
Right.
did.
It's just hard. My daughter's 11, so I'm in that stage of like, oh,
It's coming.
yeah, no, it's here.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, it's here. I'm like,
Is she sixth grade?
yes.
Oh,
yes.
Like that
So
first
she is
transition.
literally that
in there.
in that first transition of, figuring out like, oh, I have options.
Yeah.
People are trying to influence me, all the things, and I'm like, okay. And of course, like you said, you got to let them figure it out,
Yeah, that's
and they
right.
also have now their own thoughts, their own desires, all that stuff. But
It's a lot. And you got to remain open, right?
Right.
So that they can still trust you and
That
want to come
part.
to you, right?
Yep.
And so even when the parent inside of you want to be like, no, you need to do X,
Yes.
Y, and Z,
Yep.
you can't. You got to adjust. It's
Which
easy
is
when they like one or
hard.
two and you say
Exactly.
no.
And it's like, that's what I said.
Right.
But
But not
it's-
when they, really are
Oof.
independent and thinking on their own. You
No.
got to give them that freedom.
It's
Noble
rough.
already
Yeah.
says like, no one can. You can tell me what to do, but no one can make me do anything, right? Like she's already at that stage. And
How
I'm
old
like,
is she?
She's 6, and I'm
Oh.
like, you're right. I can't make you do anything, but.
But that's
I'm
because you
already
talk to her that
I
way
know,
too.
but it's.
It's like your words are
I'm like, I don't need to get it. Like,
Okay.
right there.
You need to figure that out now. I
Yes.
needed that a little later because
Yes.
sometimes I do need to. You need to feel like you have to.
You have to.
But got it.
Backfired on you.
Yeah,
You did.
Yep.
Okay, would you rather take a Eat, Pray, Love solo trip or a 10-day cruise with your family?
Oh, but that ain't a yes or a no. That's
First
First
option.
option,
first option.
Eat, Pray,
Second.
Love.
Oh, okay, got you.
Or 10-day cruise.
That's actually, I thought I knew the answer, but that's actually kind of hard.
I mean, I want to go with the family, and then after I'm gonna need that solo trip.
She's like, both.
That's good. That's good. Because how long is the Eat, Pray, Love trip, would we say?
I mean, let's say, I feel like Julia Roberts was gone for about 4 months.
Right.
But let's say 10 days.
10 days. 10
and 10,
days.
Yeah, let's do
I
10
like
and
that.
10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tab's answer because I need the family trip because I don't really like doing solo too much by myself, especially traveling. But I've never traveled by myself before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I would like that.
But 10-day on a cruise, I've never been on a cruise because that feels weird.
The cruise was
10 days.
surprising. I thought I would hate it. It was not that bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Like if you get on a nice one, like it just looks, it's a floating beautiful, like it's a beautiful
like a
mall
floating
in the middle.
Vegas.
Yeah, a floating Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rooms can sometimes be a bit tight depending on
Yeah.
where you get, but a cruise actually, and then they do the stop. I think
The cruise?
and I'm gonna bring Sophie going on a trip with us because
She's like, bring the nanny.
Like, the kids will be
Yes.
here, but
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I think I would do the cruise. I feel like my house is my Eat, Pray, Love. Like I get a lot of I make those moments. So yeah, I would do the family
Very
cruise.
good.
I'm actually very surprised right now.
Yeah, I am.
like both.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
When does the mom sleep? Sleep when the baby sleeps or whenever it just happens?
The mama doesn't sleep.
Well, we definitely should sleep when the baby sleep. When people say that all the time. But reality is, baby, it just be happening.
Yeah.
Right.
It just be happening.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. It's hard because sometimes when the baby sleeps, it's like, that's when I want to do something I want to do, even though I'm tired. And that doesn't stop after the newborn stage. That's still the kids. Like, I'm like, I am so tired, but I want to sit up and watch a show or, catch up on.
I feel like the first 2 weeks, you can kind of adapt that.
Yes.
After that, it's like, oh, now I got to get some stuff
Figure it
done,
out.
do some
Yeah.
things.
Okay. First 2 weeks. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
First 2 weeks.
Well, toddler stage or teenagers?
Toddlers. We just went over that.
I miss that stage.
It's
Yeah, they're
I
fun.
love it.
They love you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a baby person. I'm a toddler person. I love toddlers.
Yeah.
Even when they're having their tantrums, all
Yeah.
the things. I'm
Cute.
like,
They're just cute.
it's the cutest thing.
Teenagers. Woo.
Bless them, Jesus. Yeah.
Y'all
Bless
are.
them, Lord.
I remember being a teenager. I
'Cause how old is
apologize
your
to my
son
parents.
now?
He's 11.
Okay, so he gotcha.
But boys are different than
Different,
girls.
yeah.
Yeah, he's still my baby.
I was gonna say.
So he's probably just
you did the whole
chill.
girl
Very
thing,
chill.
and now you're doing
Yeah,
the boy. Okay.
yeah.
That'll be me.
He said he ain't never gonna, leave me nor forsake me.
Oh.
That's my son right there.
I've been
Yeah.
practicing my son saying that too.
I'm like, I said, promise, mommy, you won't grow up. He said, well, I can't really promise you that, mom.
Oh,
But I'm gonna be here.
That's my buddy.
Oh, I love that.
boys love
Yeah.
their mamas.
They do.
Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that gender reveals are overrated? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no, just because I think if people want to do that, that's their business. If they want to be excited about it and make it a thing. It wasn't a thing when
Me neither.
But I'd be wishing I could have had a little fun moment too.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think whatever people want to do, to excite themselves or have a celebration, baby, you do that. That's your business.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
think
you
it's
know,
cute. But like I said, if you know what sex you want to have,
Then
like just don't do it.
Oh.
Unless you already know and you're surprising everybody else. Because seeing those people upset
Oh,
at
they be
their gender,
upset. Oh, yeah.
that's no fun. And then
Yeah.
the next 20 weeks, or if people find out early now. Like,
Yeah,
could you imagine
very
a whole
early.
pregnancy being mad?
Oh, yeah.
sad, upset.
That's, yeah.
And then your child has to see that later.
Exactly.
Of you being mad that
Right.
they're coming.
What happened was, oh, you didn't want me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I waited till
Yikes.
birth to find out because I really wanted a boy.
Yes.
And I had a girl. But I didn't have any time to feel any way but the baby's here.
Yeah.
So I avoided 20 weeks of disappointment.
I
So,
wanted, if we did it one more time, that's what I wanted to do. Just wait and see what the surprise
have a
was.
surprise.
it-
Because you got the girl, you got the
Yeah,
boy. It's
yeah.
like,
But the shop is closed.
shop is closed?
So we won't be doing that.
I
Yeah.
don't know, people get surprised.
No, man. Nope. We clipped and snipped.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay.
But no
there we
surprises.
go. No surprises.
But God
I'm
wins.
waiting on the grandkids one day.
Okay. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for playing. It's Giving Motherhood. Now let's just dive into the conversation.
All right.
Now you are known for a plethora of things.
Oh,
plethora.
Yeah, a plethora of things. You have a long list, but is there anything that you don't normally get to talk about that you're like, you know what, I wish they would see this side of Tab more?
No, I'll be talking about everything.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. You're open
No.
book, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm open book.
Yeah.
So I'm open to whatever you want to talk about.
When's the first time you heard of Tabitha? What was your first Tabitha experience?
Oh man. I mean, it's been so many things. I would say probably all the cooking recipes. So I was like, ooh, you can make bacon like this?
That was my
Okay,
first,
yeah, like-
that was my first one. I was like, this
Yeah.
lady just made carrots into bacon,
Yes.
and it looked good, but I'm not trying.
yes, because I love
That
to
was
cook.
my very first.
So I'm always following people that. So I think I followed you for that, and then I was like, oh, and she loves the Lord, and she got like some really good inspiration, and then you came out with all the snacks, and you just kept growing, and I love seeing people's journey. So you follow somebody, but you made me stick around.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yes.
appreciate you sticking around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how has it been? Because it hasn't been that long, really. It's like you worked very long and hard to become an overnight success, right?
24 years instead of 24 hours.
Exactly.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
people,
See.
when you pop up, that's when they think you've appeared. Like, oh, she went viral once and it, showed up or what have you. So
Yeah.
how have the last few years been compared to, the work that got you to this version of Fruit?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Right? The first, I started doing videos and content in 2017 and had my first viral moment December 30th of 2017. So 2018 is really when it took off.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't find me until 2020
Yeah.
on TikTok when that came about. But my first, moment was 2018 in January, and I got my first Whole Foods campaign right from that video. And
That was the
it just-
car,
In the car.
the sandwich?
Yep.
the sandwich, the TGLA. And it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
And it was very different for me because I had never did content and social media. That's a new world for me. I'm a trained actress and
Yes.
had been working in corporate America 9 to 5 while pursuing my dreams out here in LA.
Right.
And so I was like, wait, I can make money on the internet? Jesus. I didn't know this, right?
Yes.
So just learning that, and I kind of stepped away from acting for those first 2 years because I was doing so much, content and traveling and speaking to people. And I didn't even realize I wasn't doing my acting stuff.
Wow.
God had just he kind of put me in this safety zone where he was like, I'm gonna develop something different inside of you for
Wow.
these next 2 years.
I love that.
And I allowed it. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm open to whatever you want me to do. And so it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. Yeah.
I love that. It sounds almost like you had to surrender a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think we hear a lot of times from moms, they're like in that safety zone, but they don't know they're in the safety zone.
Oh, right.
What are the signs that you're right there and you just need to surrender for God to do what he's supposed to do?
For me, the sign is when everything that you've tried is not working, right? Now I got to be obedient and let God open the doors and let him make the moves for me. And I continue to follow, and walking those steps. But if everything that you're trying, you just feel like I'm not in control anymore.
Yeah.
This is the time when you know, oh, okay, I got to let him be in control.
Yeah.
And surrender, be obedient. That's kind of the sign for me. That's what it was.
Okay.
No, I can imagine. I mean, you work so hard towards becoming an actress in like this career path that didn't even exist. So it's like,
Right.
now I'm doing this. Like, how did you adjust like to the changes? So from your everyday life to now all of this attention, and it's like you're working to. If you were an actress, you would have got all the attention too. But like, how did it feel to like get out into the public spotlight, have everybody's opinions on you, like literally overnight, have such a change to your lifestyle?
You know, it never really felt, and this is, you know, I've answered this before in a way, it felt normal for me.
I love that.
It felt very normal. And I've told the story before, for years, pursuing acting, you know, it didn't matter if the role was paying me $50 or if I was doing it for free. It could be a short film, a major, you know, a feature film, a commercial, a music video. It didn't matter what it was. I would come home and tell my husband, oh, this is it. I would be so excited, like, oh my God, this is it, honey. We're gonna go to the film festival. Like, all these things I would be like just over excited about. And when these things started to happen in this new career path, I was making money. Things were really happening. People were knowing who I was. And I was very calm about it. And my husband was like, hey, listen, you know, when for years you would come home and nothing was really happening, but you were so excited and you believed that it was. He was like, and now that things are really happening, we really are, you know, you really making money, like, and success has come.
Yeah.
You very calm. He was like, so what is it? That's kind of like, you know. And I was like, oh, because, you know, before my spirit and my flesh was not in alignment. So while my flesh was like, oh my God, my spirit was like, girl, no, you got to keep going. But now I'm all in alignment. So I feel balanced. And I'm very grateful. So it's a different energy. I'm super excited all the time. But it feels very much so like, oh, I'm at home.
It's like a Kairos moment.
It's just feels very normal. Like, oh, this is what God had intended for me.
I was going to say, so you're not surprised by where you're at now?
I wouldn't say surprised, because I would always dream and see things. I never imagined it to be the way it is. I always knew something was coming. But I'm very like, oh God, this is it. This is amazing, you know? But
because you actually get to, it's funny, you do all this time to become an actress playing other people, other parts, and you get to be this being
just
yourself.
Be Tab.
Isn't that wild?
It's amazing.
But then you still get to use.
Now I
was gonna say you still get to do your acting, so it's like nothing is wasted. All the things that you still, it all comes back around, but it's because you were obedient.
Absolutely.
Wow. Now you have, in the midst of all this, you have children. So how has that been? Because I can only imagine as you continue to get bigger, as you continue to get more roles and things like that, your kids don't go anywhere. They still need you. They still, you know, they still need mom. And you're America's mom right now, but they're like, but nah, you my mom. So what's going on? You know, so how has that been? Just kind of balancing all that. And we have a fun, because she doesn't believe in balance at all, and I'm like, there's rhythms. So what's your take?
Well, for me, I am mama first, right? I'm family first. That's just how I live my life. Everything else is just the bonus, right? My kids, it's so funny. Yesterday we was at a fashion show, and you know, people come up, and I was with my daughter. You know, they want to take pictures and all the things. She was like, "Girl, I be forgetting you famous." Because at home, I'm just mama. Right? So it's no like, oh my God, this is my mom. It's like, no, this is mama. And so I just stay true to who I am. You know, when I go out, I'm still Tab. But at home, it's just I'm mama. So my kids they know, oh, my mom is, you know, is Tabitha Brown, but that's just like my name. Right? So my son, he's younger, which is so funny. We'll be out and he'd be like, oh, these your fans? Like, he'd be like, oh, okay. To him, at a very early age, when things really started happening in the last couple of years, if you were successful, because, you know, their generation watched YouTube.
Yes.
And the YouTubers would have the Model X Tesla with the doors that go up. That's how he, like, measured success.
Yes.
And he was like, right? but I didn't have that.
Oh, so you ain't
not really famous.
Tesla,
Man.
the doors, right? And so I was like, but what if mommy just don't want that one? He was like,
Yeah.
I bet the YouTubers, that's what they do.
Yeah.
You know, when you got money, that's what you do.
Did you have to get a card to show your son?
No, I still ain't got that one.
Okay.
I'm like, no. He was like, but mom, but that's kind of like his way, like, oh,
Yeah.
mama, you ain't made it yet.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
he's still like,
Yeah.
Cute.
But it's still just mama.
Yeah.
I love
right?
that.
So, yeah.
Besides like having a son and a daughter, what's been the biggest difference in raising them? Because you raised your daughter during a different era of your
Yeah.
life, and now you're raising your son during, he's more present for this era of your life. So what's been the biggest difference?
The biggest difference is patience,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm older, right? So I also suffered loss and hardship and all that with my daughter. And it also taught me to be more present.
Yeah.
Not to be in a rush for them to grow up, to hold on to each moment when you can, because you can look up tomorrow and it's gone, right? So being more patient, being more understanding. Also, I think the biggest lesson was that they are not the same, right? I'm also not the same.
Yeah.
yeah.
And giving grace more for myself,
Yeah.
right? And extending that to the children. But also, we don't have the stresses that we had with my daughter.
Yeah.
We was broke for a long time.
She's like,
Yes.
plain.
Yeah.
Right. And, choice, we moved around a lot,
Yeah.
From apartments, houses, renting, and
Yeah.
trying to find, better schools and all the things. So she moved a lot.
Yeah.
Where my son has only, had like 2 or 3, but he's always had homes.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And so I used to kind of carry that like almost as a guilt for my daughter. And she was like, Mommy, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were moving. I was like, oh, I got a new room. Or,
Yeah.
But I grew up in the same house my whole life.
Yep.
Right. And so it was my own internal thing. But yeah, being able to give him things that we could not give her.
Yeah.
When it comes to like education and more opportunities, things like that. But even with being able to do that, she had so much more
Yeah.
when it comes to, I guess like not street knowledge, but oh girl, we know you're gonna be all right out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
With him, we'd be like, oh Lord,
Ooh, Jesus.
is he gonna be all right?
Yeah, because he's like kind of.
He's gonna be able to take care of himself out there. Like
Yeah.
Choice would be like, Nuck if you buck.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
like, I don't think we should really, Mommy, I don't know, right? So I'm like, Lord Jesus, what have we done to the child, right?
You gotta just throw him out somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, just peek
You
on
gonna
him.
survive out here, son.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the difference. But the core of who we are has always been the same.
Right. Yeah.
But as you grow and you age and things shift, of course we have to shift and change as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That makes sense.
Is there a way or a strategy that you have to staff your life?
To staff my life, what do you mean?
Like your village and how you get, because we can't do any of this alone.
Oh,
So what are the, because we hear it all the time. They're like, well, how do you always say sisterhood and village, but like, how do you do that? How do I meet these people? How do I even decide that there's the right people to have in my village? So do you have a village, and how have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a village here in LA because we moved here and we didn't know nobody.
Right.
So over the years, when I was in acting class, when we first moved out here, we got married young. With my husband for 25 years, so I was the only one in class that had a baby and who was married.
Yeah.
And so I would invite everybody over to my apartment. And we
Okay.
would have Sunday dinners.
Oh.
And so I would cook, and I wasn't vegan back then, but we was cooking.
Yeah.
And, play games and
Yeah.
everything. And the village just continued to grow over the years. And of course, when I had my son, it's like everybody showed up,
Yeah.
right? And so now, as success comes and freedom comes, the circle actually has gotten smaller.
Yeah.
I'd
Right?
imagine.
Yeah, it gets smaller, but it should.
Yeah.
Right? And I had said this recently, sometimes it has to get smaller so we can get bigger. And so
Okay.
with that, I know the people I have now I can truly trust.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, you hire people too with your team. But when it comes to my family, though, it's like you got to be family to be in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, but I do, we be mama and daddy. Like we still going to drop you off at school and pick you up and gonna do the things. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I love that you said is that you opened your doors, like, to the people to come in. And I think a lot of us, we're always waiting for somebody to open the door to us. And that's why we, we're like, oh, no one invited me and no one, but we're like, okay, well, you can open the door. So that actually spoke to me because I've been in my new state for a little over a year now. And sometimes I'm like, dang, I wish I had this, or, I missed that family moment. But I'm like, I could create that.
Right.
Like, I could open my doors, and I don't have to wait to have this big house with all the space, but I could just use what I have. That's the little tip right there, little sidebar. It's just open your door. Don't wait for everybody to, open their door to you, but you let the people come in. Of course, use discernment, but
Please use discernment.
everybody's like, yes.
It's funny, we were doing a lot more things like back then that probably were wild style now.
Yes.
We let I was out in the wild without a cell phone as a child.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
Riding bikes all through the woods, going here, there. I would never let my kids do that now.
Taking a whole bus to school at 5 years old. All by myself.
Yes, it's
I'm
crazy.
like, I live in a great neighborhood, and I wouldn't let my kids play outside by themselves. I don't know, maybe I coddle too much. But so I have a question. So, Michelle Obama talked about being married to President Obama. Do we still call him that? Forever president. And how there's time periods, she I ain't like him for a whole decade. So, how do you get through 25 years of marriage? With all the changes, all the kids, all the things, because it's not the same marriage that you had in year 1, year 5, 10.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I think that it's important to know in marriage, in relationships, you are going to change, both of you, right? And so you got to be open to the change. There's absolutely those moments. I understood, Michelle, anybody who's been married for a long time understood what she was saying.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't had 10 consecutive years.
That's a long time
of not liking somebody, right? But both of us have had times where I'm like, man, Lord have mercy, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
But we love, by default, that's why we all have hearts, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to like a season that you're in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like me.
Yeah.
Right? There could be a season that I ain't really fooling with me right now.
Right.
I ain't even got the capacity to fool with you.
That makes sense.
Right? So, but I also know that a lot of times it has to do with self-work. If we ain't gonna do the work on ourselves, we can't hold our partner responsible for our happiness.
Right.
And a lot of people do.
And a lot of people do. So honesty, being transparent, having uncomfortable conversations, sometimes being quiet, right? These are the things that help you get through 25 years.
Yeah.
But the growth and understanding the growth and the changes is the things that truly will get you through it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm like, so people we either think people divorce too fast or separate too fast, or we're like, oh no, people are together because they put up with a lot of crap and I wouldn't do that. So it's like, because people are like, I wouldn't want my grandparents' marriage because it wasn't this. So it's like, how do you know what's worth working through?
Well, I think that the first place that we go wrong is comparing our marriages, right? Like, when people say, I don't want my grandparents married. Well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't want your
Why are we
grandparents.
talking about them?
You shouldn't want your sister's marriage. You shouldn't want your friend's marriage. You should want your marriage.
Yeah.
And your marriage is going to be different than anybody else's, right? Because what y'all do in your house is y'all business.
Right.
I am a firm believer in not including a lot of folk in your covenant, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's certain things where you do need to talk to somebody and say, let me run something by you. How do you feel? But how they feel should never outweigh how you feel, right? You shouldn't be so influenced by what somebody else tells you about your own marriage. Yeah. And so making the decisions that work for you. And I think that sometimes you can be in a relationship and one of y'all may not want it to work anymore. Y'all might be ready to throw the towel in. But the other person is like, no, I still feel like we can work on this. But if the moment comes where y'all both in the same, for a long season of, I don't want to do this no more, then it's something like, well, let's talk about it. If neither of us really want to do this anymore. Let's unpack why and see if we have valid reason for us not to do this anymore, right? But if you don't have valid reason, then that means, okay, we still got some work to do. But I think it's to each his own, in a relationship. I don't think there's one thing, because some people can can handle certain things, and some people can't.
Oh, for sure.
Some people be like, oh wait, he wore black.
Yeah, I know a reason someone divorced, and it was like, I was like,
Y'all could work through that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
yeah.
her husband like looked at pornography or something, and she felt like that was cheating, and they
God
divorced
bless
over
her.
that. I was like, wow,
Baby,
can
she
I
might not never get married
I was like,
again.
can I have that? I was like, I'll switch.
Listen,
Jesus.
but that's her business.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Like you said, you can't compare, but
Right.
but
Wow.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, God
But
bless you.
Everybody got their own reasoning.
that
So
makes sense.
Even with life, and we talking about, relationships and stuff like that, but motherhood and marriage, that's a whole thing in itself. Like, you have your life, your lifestyle, all the things, success, passions, all that happening. But marriage and motherhood together, what is that? Like, how do you prioritize your marriage, over your kids? Do you believe that's a thing? Like, what is that like?
So when we first had choice, right? When we were young, we hadn't got married yet. She was a flower girl, okay? So it was all about her for me. I'm a young mom, and I'm trying to figure this out. And it was really a tough time for my husband, because he was like, dang, I feel like you just forgot all about me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got this baby. I'm breastfeeding on demand. I'm pumping. I'm also going to work. And I was so focused on being a good mom that he had become like kind of second in that moment. But then after getting married and going years and years, they both took priority over me.
Yep.
Right? I was, whatever they needed, I was doing.
Sounds.
And when I had my son, we had been together for a long time then, and I realized by then, I knew, marriage is first. My husband comes even before the children. But I had to come before him.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get that.
Yeah.
And so now I know, right? In the last 6 years, I call it my freedom walk.
Okay.
I come first,
Yeah.
right? Then I make sure he good, and then the children,
Yeah.
right? That's how I operate. And most times he and I we're so on the same page when it comes to the kids that it's easy to navigate that way. But everybody's a little different. But if you truly believe in your marriage, right, you will understand that it has to come first, right? It has to come before your mom and daddy, and for your your children. Because a lot of times, parents be so attached to their children, even though they've been married for a long time, they forget that, wait a minute, the husband and wife got to come before y'all now, right? So we got our own home now, So it's definitely him first. Because listen, let me tell you what them kids gonna do. They're gonna be disrespectful and grow up. Okay, and leave. And they ain't gonna look for you to put them first. Right. And now you at home trying to figure out, what am I doing?
Right.
Because you didn't take your time to nurture what you had and what you're gonna have when they're gone.
Yeah.
So which is yourself and your partner. So
Was there any guilt that came with that? Because you raised So how do you fight that?
Yeah.
the guilt. So it's different levels of guilt, right? There's the parent guilt that comes, and I think it never goes away, right? Where you think that you're not doing something right, and then there's the guilt of the marriage guilt of like, oh dang, I guess he was right. I wasn't really paying him no attention. You know, also as your body changes, you done had a baby, you ain't never the same, honey. I don't even feel like having sex. I don't even want you to look at me.
We talk about being touched out and stuff like that. It's just like,
but they don't get it. Listen,
they don't.
The men
It's
be
personal
like,
to them. Like they think it's personal.
Yeah,
I still love you.
You look
looking
good
at
to
the
me.
cellulite. The cellulite is not.
Listen, they
want
don't see what we see. And we thank God for that.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, they are so kind. They like, you look
so
good. I'm like,
kind.
but I always said I have to feel like I look good too.
Right. And men have to get to their place where they feel like that about themselves.
Yes.
Right. The moment that they start having like some insecurity moments, baby, they a mess.
Yes.
Because it don't happen as often for men. Right. But when they do, then it's sometimes like a wake up, like, oh, this is what you were feeling. You know. So for me, the guilt came in those waves. Right. But when I started my freedom walk, which meant I started taking these layers off of this tab that I had created to navigate the world and to fit in and to be like this perfect person, I started realizing, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I was living for everybody except me.
Yeah.
And that meant I had to start putting me first and really getting to know myself. And once I got to know me, the true me, I was like, oh, it's got to start with me every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't feel guilty about it. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And so that's how I live now.
Almost like being unapologetic about constantly finding who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. We should not apologize for that. And we should not feel guilty
So
about
2017 was your year, because that was 6 years ago. So
Right.
it's like,
Yep.
did it happen like right before, or what was the timing? Like you decided you were going to put you first, and then
Right, because I got sick.
Oh.
Right, so during my sickness, I was sick from 2016 to 2017 for about a year and a half. And I thought I was going to die,
Okay.
right? And during that time was, the unraveling of this tab that I had created for so long. And in my prayer to God, my final wish and call out, because I really thought God had forgotten about me.
Yeah.
My prayer was, God, if you heal me, you can have me. And that meant I wasn't going to try to live my life my way anymore. I was going to live it the way he created me.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, that meant I had to really show up as Tab. And I had to take these layers off. And that meant, okay, now I got to be free. And so going on a freedom walk is why I call it that,
Yeah.
was every day learning to be obedient, every day learning to put me first, every day no longer trying to conform. I ain't code switching no more. I'm not covering my accent no more. I ain't going to dress the way you want me to dress. I'm not going to wear my hair the way you want me to wear it. I'm going to be who God has called me to be. And it's going to be this Tab, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Doesn't mean I'm not triggered.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
when
Of
you
course.
hit on a healing journey,
Yeah.
some things can kind of shift you,
Yeah.
right? Or make you say, oh, wait a minute, do I deserve to be in this space?
That makes sense.
Can I show up like this?
Yeah.
Right? But then you check that,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? We check ourselves, and then
I always say
you
I feel
proceed.
things, but I don't let it run me. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
pretend like I don't have those moments.
Right.
So is that what you would say to somebody who is like, that feels like God has forgotten them?
Yeah, I think that, during that time, when you feel that, that's him wanting and desiring you to get closer to him.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause for me, that's what it was. Me thinking that he had forgotten about me made me go deeper in my search for him. Right? And so I always say go deeper.
Yeah.
Right? Get a little bit closer. Yeah.
Jeez. It's funny because I can relate to that. Like after I went through my big health scare, I think I did take off a layer, and people do ask like, how do you, live in such a, it's just different, Morgan. And I'm like, yeah, because I realized that it's not worth it. Like it's not worth living like this all the time.
Right.
And if he was gonna take me out, he would have done it a long time ago. He's like waiting for me to just be free and walk in what he called me to be. So I would, just a little sidebar, if you are in a moment where you are right on the edge and you're supposed to just walk in freedom, I love that you're calling it that, your
Yeah,
freedom
freedom
walk,
walk,
because I haven't had verbiage for it. I'm always like, I don't know, it's just kind of happened about 2 years ago. And God said, but it's truly that. It is walking in freedom, walking in what God literally called you to be, and not scared, even though it is scary.
Yeah. And even if you're scared, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being afraid doesn't mean you're not free. Acknowledging it means you're free.
That's a good
right?
point.
So it's all right to do it.
Dang,
do
say
it
that
afraid.
again. One more time.
But seriously, that's what it means. You can be scared but still be free.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's also scary when you're walking in freedom. For me, when I first started doing videos and, I had did the big chop, I had cut off all my hair. And in my prayer and being obedient, I was like, I got to stop, trying to talk perfect.
Yeah.
I gotta, I've been trained for years. I worked in corporate America and also in acting.
Oh, you had that code switch down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
We
I was
didn't know
like,
who we were talking about on the phone.
Exactly. Or even with the people I had met here in LA, because I was
Yeah.
trying to be this perfect Tab. And I was
not
like, why I can't
sustainable.
talk to these people the same way I talk to my daddy? The same way I talk to my husband.
Yeah.
Right?
Same way you talk to
when
God.
Exactly. When I know a camera is on or somebody, that may be in the industry, even my friends, I realized one of my best friends, her name is Zaynab. We were on the phone one day and we were talking. She's from New York, right? And so we was talking and my daddy called and I had to click over. And I was like, oh girl, hold on 1 second. So I clicked over and I talked to my daddy for a few minutes.
came back
and when
with
I
your
came
daddy
back,
voice.
I was myself. And she was like, hello? And I was like, not even my real friends know my real voice.
Oh.
Because I had been hiding for so long.
Jeez.
Right? Because I was trying to fit in out here in LA. And I was told, you country or your voice sounds ignorant. And I believed that.
And what's wild is what she known for.
Right.
What she known for.
Right.
You are like an ASMR sound for your voice.
My eyes can be closed and I know who the voice is.
And we all wait for that voice on Instagram.
Right.
Well, I'm on Instagram every day.
Yeah.
Like their motivational messages.
Yeah.
That's not freedom, though.
What are practical ways? Because we talk about putting ourselves first. We talk about finding ourselves. But like, what are the steps that is finally like, okay, I've decided that this is time for me to do that. How do I do it?
I don't think that there's actual steps, right? Because I think everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
But, for me, starting my day with myself, right? Having a little bit of quiet time, whether that is, working out in the mornings, having your prayers in the mornings, but it's just your intimate time with you and God, and you just have space for yourself, right? So that you can also tackle the day, whatever may come your way, right? Another thing is, which is so important, is using the word no. Right.
We don't know how to do that sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard. And it is work that has to be done.
Yeah.
Right? Because, somebody else's, emergency don't necessarily mean it's yours.
Yep.
And sometimes they think that.
They
and
do.
so you got to be like, ooh, honey, I am so sorry. I'm not even available.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah,
and people actually accept no's.
They
'Cause
do.
We accept people's no's.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I got it. You got.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we don't.
We think we're supposed to save everybody.
Yeah, but we're not.
It's a control thing too,
Yeah.
I think.
But it's also a woman thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
It's in us.
We were, we're born with a womb, which means we were born to carry.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we carry everybody else's problems.
But we sure try.
Right?
We try.
Yeah, the womb is for them babies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we ain't got to carry all the pressures of the world and everybody's problems.
We were
So,
born with a womb, so that means we were born to carry. Sheesh. I mean,
that's why we carry a lot. Where we can have so much on us, and people may not even know. Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
we hide it well.
Yes.
Honey, a man, when he carrying. That
Every
baby-
single
that
time.
baby be
Yep.
stressed. He be like you can see it on.
every
But
time.
we can show up and be looking all right.
Yeah.
And they think everything is fine.
It's like
Yep.
a woman
Right.
can hide a pregnancy for months.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is next? Like, as you continue to grow, as you continue to really go after your wildest dreams and parent and, be a wife, what is the thing for you? Do you ever also feel like this is it and I'm good?
Oh no.
What's your wildest dream? What's the dream?
I have a bunch of them. I'm nowhere near I'm good and this is it. I think I'll be done when God calls me home. Right?
There you go.
But I have, a lot of things I want to do. Of course, I want to do a talk show. I want to do, documentaries. I want to, travel the world and open our eyes up to different things. More film and TV. I just partnered with Made in Love Media with Stephen Love. So, with my production, Do You Believe? Making other people's dreams come true.
Yeah.
Right? So I have a lot to do.
How has the talk show not happened yet?
Right.
Well, I've been offered a couple times, but it's got to be
not
my way.
right. Okay, because I was like, I
Gotcha.
know it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the timing got to be right.
Yeah.
Too. Whenever God says it's right, I know it will be.
Okay, so that's a good question because I think sometimes we get presented with things that we pray for.
Yeah.
And so we want to say yes because we're like, that's what we pray for. How do you know when to say no to something you pray for?
When it don't feel right.
Yeah. What's that feeling for you?
It's
Is it gut?
It's a gut feeling. I call it a gut is the gift under the tummy. Right? You feel that feeling,
I've
you like,
never heard that
Yeah.
before.
And you're going to hear it all the time. now.
Right. Wow.
yeah.
I love that.
When you feel that and something don't line up, you gonna walk away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know people ignore it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I might just be nervous
Because you
they want it to
convince
happen
yourself.
so bad.
You convince yourself
There's
that
no
this
way
is
to
right.
be presented if it wasn't him. Like we make a lot of things make sense.
Yeah.
That
Even though it's
Because we
not.
also got to remember the enemy knows our dreams too.
sure
and so he
does.
can present as well.
sure does. And
so-
he's good at it too. He make it look real good.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your motivation for inspiring people? Because I think right now you also, which is why people call you auntie and the mom and all that stuff. What inspires you or keeps you going to, even when you don't feel like it? You know what I'm saying? Because the motivator doesn't always want to motivate. The encourager doesn't always want to encourage. But I feel like you have a voice to the person, the dreamer. That it's very specific. What what keeps you doing that?
I feel like it's my assignment, right? Even on days where I don't feel like it, if God gives me something, then I give it, right? So it's purpose for me. And I know what he's told me to do, right? And so I'm obedient in it. And so freedom keeps me motivated. Like I have the freedom to deliver a message. Yeah. And I also, he has blessed me with this thing of, once I give it, I've released it. And I don't carry it anymore, you know? And so it doesn't matter what somebody says about it. I'm just doing my job as the vessel, right? And so that keeps me motivated to know I am, you know, doing my job that he has blessed me to do.
Okay. So what would you say to a mom? She's married or not married. She has kids. She's working. And she had all these dreams, and she thinks that they're not possible now because she's just got this full plate, and I'm getting older, and my kids need me. Like, what would you tell her?
I would say if you think that you can't, you can't. But if you think that you can, you can.
Jesus.
Drop the excuses.
Listen, either way, you're right. If you say you can't, you can't.
That's
if
mom.
you say you can, you can. But either way, you're right.
Either way,
So
you're
choose
right.
your right.
Yeah, you make the
Choose your
decision.
right.
Yeah.
How you gonna lie to yourself today?
Yeah.
We're not playing. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just, I am so grateful that we have been able to have these types of conversations because it's so easy to have the light and fluffy, right? It's so easy to encourage and it sounds so good, but it's also very hard when somebody is so deep down and they have convinced themselves that really this is it. But it takes a certain amount of like, you gotta pull yourself up off out of, you know, by your bootstraps. And I think this season is doing that, especially from people like you that are saying, no, it's gotta be you that wants it. Like it's gotta be you that's gotta tell you that you could do it.
Yeah, we have to stop encouraging people into complacency. Like sometimes your friends will be like, okay, it makes sense. Like, your life is hard. It is okay. You have to have those people that say like,
So?
Yeah.
Like if you want it, you want it. You'll figure anything you care about, you'll figure it out.
And I think the most important thing is not to put a time limit on your dreams.
Yeah.
Right? I'm about to be 45, so
and look good.
Things just started happening for me really at the 40 mark. You know, my late 30s is when life started to like really open up in a new way for me. And I'm just still getting started, right? No matter how much I've accomplished, every day I'm like, ooh, this is a new day. I'm just getting started. So I think you can raise your kids, you can be this great mom, but you can also do one small thing every day towards your dream.
Yes.
Right? It ain't got to be something massive. You can do one small thing, because those kids, like I said, they're going to grow up. They're going to be gone living their life. And then what do you have? Right? But you still have you in the process. So you need to make sure you take care and nurture your dreams as well while you're on the journey of being a mom and a wife or whatever. So yeah.
That's good. So I'm going to ask you one last question.
Oh, all right, girl.
Okay. So what do you think moms actually need to hear?
Oh, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Honey, you can do it your way and it's all right.
Yeah.
You do it your way.
Your way.
Your way.
Yeah. That's good because we exposure. We try to do it everybody else's way.
Yeah, you can do it your way. And the most important thing to remember is you can do it different. You can do it different. You don't have to do it the way that your mama did it, your grandma did it, your friends do it. You can do it different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
so
probably
good.
the best thing
Yeah.
I learned. Like, my sister-in-law had kids before me, and I'd never seen anybody raise kids the way she does. Like, her life and her marriage came first, and I was like, oh, I can do that? Because my mom sacrificed a lot. Like, she never had any sick days, any personal, because it was all dedicated to me. And I'm like, oh, you out living your life, and you got some help. You can like have help and not feel ashamed about it. I was like, oh, okay, got it.
Absolutely, you can. Honey, that's your village, however you want to create it. Honey, and that's also your business. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you for talking with us.
for coming.
Yes,
Thank you for your
appreciate
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It means the world to us.
It really does.
Anywhere.
I appreciate y'all.
You're the best.
Y'all are amazing.
Wow. Thank
You're a
you. You
real
were
person.
amazing. It's just, I'm like, us?
They're amazing. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe and things, okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Should I end it how I end my video?
Oh,
yes.
please. please.
Well, very good. We thank y'all for watching. All right, and until the next time y'all go about y'all business, have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's in. Love y'all. God bless you.
Hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?
hey mom,
What's up?